Welcome to ABC Interactive English. I'm your host, Nina.
Hello, everybody. I am Shane. So happy to see you today. And what are we talking about?
Today, we're doing part 1 of Bedtime Stories Aren't Just for Kids.
So kids get read bedtime stories?
Did you not get any bedtime stories when you were little?
My parents never read me any bedtime stories.
Oh, that's so sad.
But
yeah.
I had a TV in my room. And what my
Okay.
parents would let me do is just put on the TV, and then I would fall asleep watching TV, and sometimes they would turn it off. Or if they fell asleep, they would forget, and then maybe I would just leave it on all night long and just sleep like that. But
okay, that sounds like the life though.
Yeah, you know, so, but when I see on TV or something, like, you know, the parent is on the bed and there's very nice lighting and the kid is snuggled up next to the mom and the mother's reading the bedtime story, I just feel...
Oh, you want that too? But I think if you were a child, you would prefer watching TV. If you went back in time, you would still choose watching TV.
But did your parents read you bedtime stories?
Yeah, actually my mom did. So my dad would tuck me in like a burrito.
Like a burrito?
Yeah, he would tuck the sheets in, literally.
Nice.
And then my mom would read me a bedtime story if I asked for it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so obviously I always asked for it because I didn't want to go to sleep right away.
Makes sense. Okay, let's get into today's story.
Okay.
Bedtime stories are great. Parents read them to their kids before bed. The stories, along with the gentle voices, calm the kids. They also make the kids feel warm and safe.
Okay, so this is part 1 of Bedtime Stories Aren't Just for Kids.
Okay, so it's not too late for me.
Not too late for you.
I can still get some bedtime stories. Okay.
Absolutely.
All right, so bedtime stories are great. Parents read them to their kids before bed.
Yes. That's why it's bedtime stories.
Makes sense.
Even my sister reads to her son every night before he sleeps.
Aw, so sweet.
And it's also a good opportunity for them to practice their language skills.
Absolutely.
Yes. So the stories along with the gentle voices calm the kids. So it sounds like it's something very good to get them into the mood of sleeping, right?
Yeah, make them relax and calm and sleepy.
Yeah, and use a gentle voice. So gentle means soft and kind. For example, the mother spoke in a gentle voice.
Okay, now what is a voice? So the voice, or a voice, is the sounds made through the mouth by a human being, by a person.
Yes, because you don't really say voice for animals. You say it's making a sound right?
Or a noise.
Exactly.
Right. So for example, you have a beautiful voice.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, continuing. They also make the kids feel warm and safe.
Ooh, warm. Okay, so warm is a little hot, but nice. Usually warm is a good thing. When you say something is hot, it's too much, right?
It's too much heat, right?
Exactly.
So warm is just a little bit of heat where you feel comfortable.
Yeah, so in this case, it's not the temperature, but it's the feeling, of being nice and
calm and relaxed.
Exactly. So, for example, the sun felt warm on my skin.
Hi, I'm Tina. 我们来看一下刚刚课文里提到的单字跟文法重点。首先来看看单字的部分。Gentle 形容词，轻柔的、柔和的。Lily gave the dog a gentle hug. Lily 轻轻地抱了那只狗。Voice 名词，声音。 人类或动物的声音。Anna has a sweet voice. Anna 有一个甜美的声音。Warm, warm 形容词，温暖的。Helen gave me a warm smile. Helen 给了我一个暖心的微笑。我们再来看一下文法重点。刚刚课文提到了 along with， 还有连同，这是一个介系词片语，用来连接两个词性相同的词语。我们来看看这个例句。Mary went to the party along with her friends. Mary 和她的朋友们一起去参加派对。接着我们回到课文当中。
Okay, so unfortunately, I didn't get any of these bedtime stories to make me feel nice and warm and calm. But I think that watching TV did help with that.
Absolutely.
I was able to watch something that I enjoyed and I just naturally got sleepy.
Do you think that maybe you stayed up longer than you should have because you got to watch TV?
I was a very active kid, so I think I was usually pretty tired by the normal time. So I think my parents would eventually come into the room around 9:30 or something and then turn off the TV. And I remember sometimes I would still be a little bit awake and I would just see them do that and then fall back asleep.
Okay, that's nice. Well, maybe you can decide if you want to give your future kids the bedtime story or the TV time.
I don't think I want to have kids.
If you did.
Sounds like too much. Sounds like too much work having to read every night.
Ah, that's true.
It's good for the kid, but it does sound like if I did have a child, I would like to do that.
And then you realize how much work it is.
Right. Okay. All right. Let's take a short break and we'll be right back.
Okay.
Bedtime stories aren't just for kids. They're good for adults, too. Many have trouble sleeping because of stress. They use their phones to take their minds off that for a while. However, when it's time to sleep, they can't. They lie awake and worry. Just like with kids, bedtime stories can calm their minds and put them to sleep.
Welcome back, everybody. So before the break, we were talking about reading bedtime stories to kids before they go to sleep.
Yeah.
And reading a bedtime story to a kid, you can use like a nice soft voice and make the kids feel calm, make them feel warm. And I really do think that it is, like we said, it's a good way to learn too.
Yes.
Right? You can really, learn as you're falling asleep, and it's good to, practice your listening skills when you're a child.
Yeah, and sometimes you can read, if it's a book, you can read the story together.
Oh, that's true too.
That's practicing.
That's good practice.
Exactly, and it helps put the child at ease and fall asleep nicely, right?
That's right. Okay, so moving on.
Okay. Bedtime stories aren't just for kids. Ooh, they're good for adults too. So Shane, maybe you get to experience this still after all.
Yes, absolutely. I definitely need a good story before I go to bed. Many have trouble sleeping because of stress.
Many adults, right?
Yes. Now, this used to be a big problem for me is before I found a way to get a story. I'm not going to tell you right now. I'm going to wait till the next part to tell you. But I have a secret weapon now.
Ooh, okay.
But before then, I would have a lot of trouble because of stress sleeping. And usually because, you are like watching TV or doing something that's maybe a little bit too exciting.
Yeah, it keeps
know?
your mind too active.
Too active, right.
Okay, so they use their phones to take their minds off that for a while. Okay, so adults usually before bed, maybe they will use their cell phones to take their mind off their stress.
Right. It's a good way to relieve some stress, you know, catch up on things, maybe watch some funny videos, you know, go to their social media, maybe chat with their friends.
Yeah, but
right?
maybe using your phone too much can keep you up.
Well,
it depends on what you use it for.
Like at least it could take your mind off of the stress. Okay?
Yeah, that's true.
At least that. So when you take one's mind off of something, it means when you take your mind off something, that means you do something to pass the time and not think about other things. So if you're feeling stress, of course, you know, getting on your phone and maybe chatting or looking at your social media, it can distract you. It can make you not think about the stress.
Yeah, like if you're going through a bad breakup, I can tell you, Shane, let me take your mind off it. Let's go to Disneyland or something like that.
Now that would be an awesome way to pass the time.
Yes.
Okay.
我们来看一下刚刚课文里提到的文法 ，take one's mind off something， 让某人忘却某事物。字面意思呢，就是将某人的心思从某事物抽离。我们来看看这个例句 ：John watched a funny movie to take his mind off work. John 看了一部搞笑电影，来让自己忘记工作。接着我们回到课文当中。
So we're talking about using our phones, right? And how that might be a good way to get your mind off of your stress.
Yes.
Continuing. However, when it's time to sleep, they can't. They lie awake and worry.
Yes, lying awake and worrying.
So even
That's
though
usually
you're trying
me.
to use your phone to distract you, that only works until you stop using your phone.
Yeah, I think the screen doesn't help you sleep as well.
Yeah, so you put your phone away and then you still lie there and try to close your eyes, but your mind will keep spinning and thinking about what happened today or what's going to happen tomorrow or what's going to happen
Next year.
for the rest of your life. What kind of person am I? Why doesn't anybody like me?
Okay, you're spiraling.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Everything will be okay.
Okay.
So when you lie, it means to rest in a flat position. So the tenses are lie, lay, lain. For example, she lay on the grass and looked at the sky.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay,
that
so
sounds very calming.
It does.
But you can't really do that right before bed.
Yeah, you can.
Unless you're camping.
Okay, so continuing. Just like with kids, bedtime stories can calm their minds and put them to sleep. Okay, so what kind of bedtime stories would an adult like?
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, what does it mean to put somebody to sleep? To put yourself to sleep just means that you get tired and fall asleep. Yeah, that's what it means to put somebody to sleep.
我们来看一下刚刚课文里提到的单字 lie 动词躺，它的三态是 lie, lay, land。课文中的 lie awake 指的是无法入眠，辗转反侧。Sarah likes to lie on the grass and watch the clouds. Sarah 喜欢躺在草地上看着云朵。文法的部分刚刚提到了 put somebody to sleep 让某人入睡。注意动词与介系词的用法哦。我们来看看这个例句 Nick told a story to put his sister to sleep. Nick 讲故事让妹妹入睡。接着我们回到课文当中。
Okay, so it sounds like there is still some hope.
Yeah.
I think we're going to find out about that in part 2, though.
Yes.
What adults can do to have bedtime stories.
Yeah, so I'm excited to hear what kind of bedtime stories or how it helps us.
I know that I've read to myself or just do my own reading, and that can make me sleepy, but that's different.
True.
The bedtime story means somebody is telling it to you or talking to you. So let's find out in part 2.
Okay, then.
We'll see you then.
Bedtime stories are great. Parents read them to their kids before bed. The stories, along with the gentle voices, calm the kids. They also make the kids feel warm and safe. Bedtime stories aren't just for kids. They're good for adults, too. Many have trouble sleeping because of stress. They use their phones to take their minds off that for a while. However, when it's time to sleep, they can't. They lie awake and worry. Just like with kids, bedtime stories can calm their minds and put them to sleep.
我们来复习一下这一课的重点单字跟文法。单字的部分 gentle 形容词，轻柔的、柔和的。voice 名词，声音，人类或动物的声音。warm 形容词，温暖的。lie 动词，躺。接着我们来看文法的部分 along with 还有连同。Ethan saw a pen along with some coins in the drawer. Ethan 看到抽屉里有一个别针，还有几枚硬币。Take one's mind off something 让某人忘却某事物。Music helps Iris take her mind off her worries. 音乐帮助 Iris 忘却烦恼。Put somebody to sleep 让某人入睡。Did you put the baby to sleep? 你把宝宝哄睡了吗？以上就是这一课的重点单字跟文法，那我们下一次再见喽，拜拜。
Winnie, I got your lunch.
Oh, thanks. What? Cold noodles again?
It's summertime.
I know, but I just have no appetite for cold noodles. I think it's kind of boring.
Well, that's why I want to show you. I've learned a new way to enjoy cold noodles by adding texture.
Well, I guess first things first is we just prepare our cold noodles as usual, right?
That's right. Okay. So I have our 2 different sauces, and we are going to stir it to mix it evenly.
Okay. Well, I guess after you stirred that, I'm going to pour it over my noodles. So far, these cold noodles look pretty plain to me.
Well, this is the fun part, and we're going to experiment with some basil-flavored pea crackers.
But those pieces are really big. It's gonna be kind of hard to eat it.
Well, that's why we have to crush it. Now that we have crushed little pieces, we can sprinkle it on top of our cold noodles.
Oh gosh. I'm nervous.
Well, let's try.
Okay, so you're gonna sprinkle it?
Yes, sprinkle, sprinkle, sprinkle. Okay.
Oh, I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna stir it.
Is it good?
That's really good.
Yeah?
That's really good.
And now with the texture, you won't find it so boring anymore.
Yeah, and also the fact that we used basil flavor. That brings out the flavor of the cold noodles. I recommend this.
Yeah, well, try it this summer. Wow, Winnie, looks like you really like it.
I guess I do. I guess I like cold noodles again. Well, hopefully you guys can go home and try this way of eating cold noodles too. But that's all we have for today. Remember to follow us on Instagram, send us a DM or an email if you have something you want to say in English but you just don't know how. Kiki, anything you want to say?
I'm glad you like cold noodles again.
Me too.
Kiwi later.